Hello, and welcome to the Caffeinated Mammal Compilation Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Fox. On this episode, we have Western North Carolina Americana band Sycamore Bones. They talk about co-op songwriting, their upcoming 10-year anniversary, and they perform the titular song from their most recent EP, Someone Who Knows. We are in the studio with Sycamore Bones. Will you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Corey.
I'm Andrew.
What do you guys do in the
do,
band?
Corey?
Hang out, mostly.
You hang out in the band?
Drink brews with the bros.
That's it. Get paid to drink with our friends.
Crush it at life.
Do you guys get paid for that shit?
If you know the right people, you can get paid.
Yeah.
No, I play. I write, and I also sing, and I play electric guitar and keyboards, and I'm working on adding accordion to our sound
Oh.
as an act of defiance against
Getting
modernity.
some like Weird Al vibes going on.
Yeah. The weirder and the more owl, the better.
Yeah. The weirder and the owler.
Yeah. What do you do, Corey?
Yeah, I play acoustic guitar, mostly rhythm, and write songs as well. So we're kind of half and half songwriters at this point.
Sweet. Very cool. And today we're going to talk about a song called Someone Who Knows, right?
Yes.
Which is also the title track on the EP you put out last year.
Yeah, it came out in March 20-something. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think about right. Gee, it's going on a year.
Going on a year. We should have a year anniversary to start publicizing again.
Wow,
So
yeah.
people listen to this podcast. We have an album out. It's almost like brand new to you. Well, you could even act like it just came out and you're onto something that just happened. So it's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's anywhere you can find music. It's also on our website, www.sycamorebones.com.
You forgot the HTTP :
crap.
/ They're not even going to find it now.
Everyone forgets that.
Yeah.
So
Do we even still use www?
do you not have to?
I don't think so.
I think you just Google.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I don't think you
Google
even
everything.
need a website anymore. You just Google Sycamore
that's it.
Bones,
That's it.
And stuff will come up.
and then
Just
stuff
follow
will
it.
come up. Just make sure you're in a not at work because you don't want it to get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Definitely.
if they sneak an R at the end of your
Right,
Your names, that
boners.
would be-
Well, it's funny you say that. I feel like this
I
is
was just
appropriate
about to say
context
it.
for the story. We have a running joke between Corey and I that we call our fans the boners, and we want to make like a club, like on Facebook, like the boners.
Sign me up.
Right? Everybody wants to be a boner.
No, not to mention, so we've been playing for 10 years.
10 years
actually.
together, this
10
August.
years. So we're trying to set up an event, actually Liquid Roots, I believe, on August 10th.
Yep, that's the date.
So it's going to be our 10-year anniversary, and we actually were thinking about calling it a decade of boners.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. Can I get a T-shirt?
Oh, we should do 10-year anniversary
Yes.
t-shirts. I like that.
God, yes. I'm in.
I think it would work.
And to stick with the theme, you could just have a tree with a couple of bushes at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a great idea.
We could.
yeah.
A limbed tree. So
Limbed.
it's just at the top, it's nothing. Back to the urinals.
This is not getting weird already.
It's not getting weird.
No.
We were talking about bidets before
We were
recorded. can do that.
indeed talking about bidets, and I neglected to hit record when that conversation started happening. So
Just
Missed
trust us.
opportunities.
It was great. It was greatness. But yeah, so the album was called Someone Who Knows. It's 7 songs.
Wow.
Is that right?
7 songs.
7? Yeah.
I think so.
several songs.
Several.
That's what we're
7
going with.
songs.
Several songs.
That sort of run the gamut from like acoustic folk things to more like Western swing with a little bit of a punk edge to like pretty much like a 90s alternative punk sounding tune that's about like megachurches and religious zealots and things like that.
I love that. It's wholesome.
Yeah, it's wholesome. It's for the family.
Yeah.
We really try to sneak a religious song on every album. I mean, our 2 albums. at
Yeah.
this point.
Usually they're Corey's.
all 2 of them.
All 2 of them.
All 2 of them. It's extensive.
At this point, it's a pattern.
Yeah. I've done that a time or 2 as well.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about, like, you're talking about all those sounds you blend, about how you guys really have a broadly palatable sound that works in a lot of different settings. You can play a bill with almost anybody.
You hear that?
I never thought about that, to
But
be
you
serious.
can't, because like some of your stuff leans in on the like mellow acoustic folky stuff, and then you guys blend in and get loud, and it's cool to see. I mean, the Coalesce Fest that you put together, you guys, I mean, you started it, but you guys were kind of the glue of that whole thing, because it swung from, you know, the mellower stuff and the acoustic stuff, and then you guys kind of in the middle there, and then the more punk bands like
After
ourselves.
that,
And
we were sort of the bridge.
yeah,
And that's kind of, if we're honest, and we can talk to our audience directly, that's
You
sort of
can't.
how we've planned the band. Corey and I have always seen Sycamore Bones is more punk than people probably give us credit for.
punk rock is in your heart.
It's in our
It
heart because we
is.
both come
It
from,
is.
like, in high school I was obsessed with bands like Rancid, the Distillers, the Clash is one of my favorite bands, biggest influences. Early hardcore bands like Black Flag and Bad Brains, Circle Jerks, Minutemen, all that like 70s, 80s art punk stuff, like really, really impacted what I like and sort of the attitude I have towards music and creativity.
Have you read that book Sellout that came out about a year ago?
I haven't.
Okay, I've got it on my shelf right here. You're welcome to pick it up here in a little bit.
I will.
But I didn't read it when I bought it, but I've been listening to it on Spotify because it's just I commute a lot, so I've been listening to those. But it talks about when Green Day first put out their record, and the Distillers and Rancid and all those things, and it's really cool to go back and hear those stories about how all that happened, and then to also, we're sitting here now talking about your band and dropping all those influences. It's cool to go back and see the beginning of those things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What about you with your punk rock
Punk
self?
rock. I mean, yeah, you're talking about Green Day. A lot of pop punk, to be serious. A lot of Canadian pop punk.
Name some Canadian pop punk bands.
Treble Charger. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Treble Charger.
I don't know Treble Charger, but
So I grew up on the border, northern border, not southern border. And so we used to get a lot of Canadian music, mostly over the radio waves. So, but yeah, I mean, going back to our mentality and kind of looking at us as more of a punk band, and about how that is all a mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at bands like the Pogues, where you might not exactly think that they're American version of punk, but you also look at just them doing what they want to do. So really, when we got started, mostly people were like, you need to play covers. If you're going to get gigs, you need to play covers. You need to sprinkle in the original music.
so many opinions about those, and they're very angry ones.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So me and Massey were just like, screw this, and we were going to just play mostly original music. So
And you still get stages like here at Oktoberfest where you're playing amongst all the shitty cover bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys
Well,
had a bigger crowd than most people that day.
I'll say this. I feel like, from like a performance and like an artistic perspective, the best thing you can do is be as authentic as you can, and that's going to draw the people who are going to dig what you do. So, like, if I'm trying to put all this effort in to sound like Chris Stapleton or somebody, that's not going to ring as authentic with the audience that will really be diehard fans of ours. And that's sort of the conversation. I think we were at McGuire's Pub downstairs. We used to do a songwriter night. And we had some guys that we looked up to who were songwriters as well. We're like, if you guys are going to start playing out, like what Corey said, you're going to need to do, 2 hours of covers and maybe an hour. And we were like, I remember talking one of those nights being like, nah, let's just learn as many of our songs as we can.
I was literally told people don't want to hear original music by a person who puts on music in this town.
Yeah.
Fuck all of that, man.
And I think the cover bands, I think, have their place, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's entertaining. I like it when I go to a bar and they play, and I'm drinking a little bit, and they play Piano Man, or they play Billy Joel, or they play, what's another good cover people do?
That's it. Those are the only
What's
covers
that?
people
I
do.
don't know. Play a good Justin Timberlake song, gets me moving,
I do like when people occasionally bring sexy back.
I like sexy. Anytime you can bring sexy back, you just got to do it.
Yeah. So let's segue back into the songwriting.
Yes.
So you guys write all of your own material,
Yes.
and do you sprinkle in covers every now and then for funsies or no?
we do, and that's a wide variety of
Yeah.
of covers as
We could probably
well.
list them all on one hand. So we do 2 John Prine tunes.
Sometimes.
We do sometimes. We haven't done them in a while, but we do because we're both big John Prine fans. If you don't listen to John Prine, he's one of the greatest American songwriters that we've ever had. But we do 2 of his tunes. We do a White Stripes tune,
Cool.
Hotel Yorba, which is folky anyway. We do
Nirvana.
a Nirvana tune, and we do the Tragically Hip song.
Mhm.
Is that about it?
No. Geez, who else do we cover? Pixies. We just
Pixies.
started
We've
the
added "Here
Pixies.
Comes Your Man" by the Pixies to our
okay.
set, and that's been going really good. That's a fun one to play.
Cool.
Steve Earle. Yeah,
Steve
we just
Earle.
started Steve Earle in
But for the
preparation
most
for
part-
St. Patty's Day.
For the most part, it's your stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about the song that you guys are going to play for us later.
Yes.
Someone Who Knows, right, is the title?
Yes,
And
sir.
again, it's the title track of that EP. And you guys mentioned earlier, kind of in passing, that you write separately.
Yes, I don't even know if we've ever tried. We've tried to write together, and usually, and when we do write together, Corey will send me a verse and maybe a chorus, and be like, "You want to write a verse?" And then I'll take a shot at a verse, but that's only been successful once.
Yeah. Christmas song.
Christmas song that we didn't release.
Yeah.
But usually we write separately, and then we'll bring it to the band. It's just an acoustic guitar and vocals, or piano and vocals, or just really simple. And then we just add every layers on it and kind of figure out where we want the dynamics to go.
Cool.
And that's about how that works.
So talk about how you wrote this song in particular.
Oh God,
Where'd it start?
it started. I had that little guitar thing that goes throughout almost the whole song. The and I liked that. I didn't have any lyrics to it, and I just sat down and just played it over and over again until it almost made me sick, and just would
I feel
write
that.
things, just write lines down, and it came together fairly quickly once I started getting words to it, but it took me a while to get a melody that would flow really well with it. And then once I got the chorus, it was on like Donkey Kong, from there. And then once we added all the other instrumentation to it that we've added on the album, which we can talk about later, we can talk about now.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Well, once we got in the studio, it was our first time really having access to a broader range of musicians and instruments. And so there's piano on that track, there's fiddle, there's baritone guitar, which is one of my favorite parts. I was telling you, and you told me to save it for the interview, but when I got here, I was telling Sean, there's this little bass run at the end, and I was like, well, that doesn't sound like Ryan's upright bass. It doesn't sound like a piano. And I was like, when did I play that on piano? And it was the baritone guitar that Dwight McGlynn added in there. Dwight McGlynn plays for Trouvere and has his own good solo stuff.
That's how you say that.
Trouvere.
Yeah.
It's a French balladeer or troubadour. So it's I didn't know how to pronounce it either, but that's how you say it, Trouvere.
Trouvere.
And he's a talented guy, can play anything, but he added all the lap steel on the album, and he added some of the baritone guitar that's on 1 or 2 of the songs.
Very cool. God, I love lap steel. It's just...
Oh, it's a beautiful song.
Okay, let's bridge this back to punk rock a little bit. Do you know the band Hot Rod Circuit?
No.
Okay. They are a fantastic band. They were in that burgeoning emo scene in the early aughts. But the last record they ever put out, it's not on streaming services for whatever reason, but it's like a punk record with lap steel all over it, and it's fantastic. And it's wild how
Give me that name before we go so I can check
Okay,
that out.
yeah, I definitely will. So do you guys do you do the Fleetwood Mac thing where you write songs talking shit about each other and you just show up and you're like, I wrote this about you, motherfucker?
No, not yet.
We've
No.
never done that.
We've only had we don't really have a lot of band drama.
We don't.
We're both pretty
Oh,
easygoing.
I'm gonna stir
kinda-
some up. That's what
Stir some
I'm
up.
here for today.
What's your past?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really. We've had 1 or 2
No.
instances where it's like, damn it, Corey, or damn it, Andrew. But overall, I feel like we're both pretty laid back guys, and so, it's good because a lot of songwriters can carry a lot of ego. I feel like, and we're both. I'd like to think that we're both. Hey, just kind of easygoing, and we let our people in our band do what they do, and we try not to be dictators, and let the thing unfold as organically as we can.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think ego has something to do with us writing songs by ourselves. When it comes down to it, if we really want to bring it up, and I think the songs we write are so personal that inviting someone else into it, it's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's something I've always done solo. you know. And then when I have tried to do co-writing, it doesn't always work out as well as you would want it to. They have a different idea, or you don't like their ideas, or they don't like your ideas, or like you have different versions of how you want the song to be, or you want to change this minor chord here to this. And so to me it's easier. We have sort of a rule in the band where like if it's your song, you get the final say on everything. Like if you don't like the guitar part, or you want to how you want it to be, is sort of the
Is that a thing you've just like you talked about, or is it?
we've talked about it, and it kind of happens that way anyway. Because if it's Corey's song, I'm in Corey's band in my brain at that point, right?
When it's your song, he's
And
in
I'm
your
serving
band.
his song, and if it's my song, then I think, right, you're there to be behind me, and so there's not
That's
a lot
fair.
of like, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader.
You guys have such an adorable relationship.
It's nice.
Band marriage. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so you were asking me what I think this song is about.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I've listened to it a handful of times. I read through the lyrics. To me, you've got the line something. I don't have it exactly, and I didn't pull it up in front of me this time like I meant to. But something about how this person is giving all their attention to everyone but you. But at the end of it, they were made for you. So it sounds to me like a whole story of unrequited love, except for that person loves freely,
Yeah,
just not to you. I don't know. That's kind of what
that's close. So I didn't know what the song was really about for a while. I don't know if when you do that, when you write songs, you're kind of like, I can't really pinpoint like a
Right.
thing. Like,
I get in my head when I'm writing songs about like, here's where it started, but man, if I write this the way I feel it, I'm such an asshole, or I'm just gonna go cry in a closet.
mine's
all
more the
alone.
crying,
So,
whiny
like,
little bitch.
Yeah.
part.
Mostly
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I can write a sad song.
Oh yeah, we're
Right there with
sad
you.
song fellas, sad white guys.
Yes.
But well, it's sort of like that, but it's wrapped in this narrative of like the afterlife. I grew up pretty religious, so almost everything, whether I want it to or not, is filtered through that lens because it was just such a part of who I was for so long.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like this guy's already died and passed on. This girl gets in a car accident who he was in love with while he was on the earth. That's what the line. So she's pretty much dead. The night is wrapped up in your arms. The street lamps shine like gold. Don't it pay to have around someone who knows? You don't have to. What is the line? Oh God, you don't have to dance around like a ghost. Our feet will never touch the ground. The highway's covered with roses. So that line's either about like blood on the highway, which is a pretty gross thing about, or it's like the flowers they put on the side of the road.
I prefer the blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
Blah.
entrails and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's looking at like, oh, she died. So he's sort of escorting her around the afterlife in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And now since she's dead though, she's also, her memory is with all the people that remember her on Earth. So like, it's this weird mix of like, yes, we're together now, but how people perceive you and their memory is different and really important to me. I don't know.
Sure.
It's convoluted.
I dig it.
Yeah, but it's sort of got some, like onions and ogres. It has layers.
It's got layers.
You got
What about a parfait? Parfaits have layers.
What about a cake?
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about people belonging to other people, my wife's really introverted, and really she needs like me and her mom and dad and her brother and sister, and doesn't care to leave the house besides that, and like our kids, obviously. And I'm really extroverted. I get a lot of energy from going out and doing things, and so our relationship seems like that a lot of times. That's
Yeah.
probably written into there as well. That like I need a lot of external validation and change and different faces and like new experiences.
How personal do you get when you write? I struggle with that. I have to sometimes try to take the personal out a little bit.
I
At
think
times.
that's something probably both me and you do struggle with. I know a lot of bands that are they're really good at portraying other people's emotions. They're really good at kind of bringing other people in and being able to invite them to feel and experience their music and have it be a wider base. And I've tried writing like that. you know, you write those hooks and stuff like that are very out there.
Yeah.
But I think me and Andrew both write very from the heart.
It's vulnerable. I feel like
yeah.
the way I've got over that is I don't try to make a narrative necessarily. I'm just writing to get, and I'm not judging whatever I'm writing, and I'm not trying to make. I want to stay true to a theme and a feeling.
Yeah.
I want to stay true to a feeling more than I want to stay true to like a narrative or a anything that could happen in like tangible reality. Right. I just kind of want to write and use poetic metaphor as a way to be honest and disguise it a little bit, but still be sort of really open and vulnerable.
Well, you guys are both fantastic songwriters, and it's cool that it works well enough that like your song, my song, but they blend to make a whole thing. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that
I'm just
also,
jerking you guys off a little bit.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that also has to do with our band as well, because we do have people that back us up, that develop that add the 3-part, 4-part harmonies, that add the fiddle, that add the bass lines, and it's very cohesive that way. So it's a lot to do with our back line as well.
And I think it also, like, the way your voices work together, they're different. And then you guys also add vocals. You're not on the microphones right now, but you can nod or shake your head or flip me off if you want to, whichever makes the most sense. But you guys seem to have worked out the harmonies well. Your voices are different, but they're cohesive. Corey, you've got like the kind of buttery smooth thing going on, and
Yeah.
Andrew. My wife's in the room right now, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying, but she has said to me more than once that your voice just has this thing that scratches a specific itch in her brain.
Oh.
So yeah, it's just, but it's cool.
It does. And we went to see Dr. Dog once. I know Andrew's a big fan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that as well, where they do have two front men that have those very different,
distinct voices.
Yeah.
But the band as a whole works really well together. And like he'll do a song. Toby, I think, is the bass player's name who sings. And then Scott is the other singer who sounds sort of like a Neil Young kind of, but a little bit more punk rocky, or I don't know how to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they kind of go off on these different journeys, but the band is the same, you know. And sort of the Beatles thing too, right? We don't really write together like John and Paul did, but it's still sort of like I think you get more out of it that way, right? Like if you got another good writer in the band, let them sing too.
Right, bring something to the table.
Yeah, just throw everybody a curveball every now and again. And
I like it.
do it.
So you guys are down one member today, right?
We are.
So we are getting a kind of a special performance of this song here in a little bit. So a little bit of a stripped down version without drums.
Yes, sir.
You guys ready to do it?
Let's do it.
Cool. You guys want to add anything else before we cut this part?
Jeez, I think we added everything and more.
We covered it.
Yeah.
We're that good at being interviewed.
You did great.
We killed it.
Yeah,
Take
you
that,
did.
Western North Carolina music.
Cool. Let's do it. Here's Sycamore Bones with a live in-studio performance of their song, Someone Who Knows.
All right, we ready?
Rock and roll.
A 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
The night is wrapped up in your arms, and the street lamps shine like gold. Don't it pay to have around someone who knows? You don't pay to make a sound and dance around just like a ghost. Our feet will never touch the ground. The highway's covered in roses. Oh, darling, I see you belong to everyone but me. And I know that chosen you for me. Won't you tiptoe with your charm beneath the moon's silver lit face? You and I stroll arm in arm with nobody knowing the beauty you took to your death, the light you've taken to your grave, in the ease of your embrace. My heart is burning. Oh, darling, I see you belong to everyone but me, and I know that to be free and eternally, whoever pulls the string has chosen